Am I the meanest?
PUNSH drunk.
Am I the prettiest?
PUNSH drunk.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time?
PUNSH drunk.
Well, who am I?
PUNSH drunk.
Who am I?
PUNSH drunk.
I can't hear you.
PUNSH drunk. AKA Mr. Moo Woo Shot himself.
Of Harlem.
You already know this is PUNSH Drunk Boxing, aka Mr. Moo Shot himself, aka El Adobo, aka El Sazón, aka El Borracho. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this side of heaven. God bless you all. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a great boxing night. Again, boxing has great momentum ever since they pulled out the schedule. I think it was around August. And I think boxing has been very consistent. New entities has come to the sport of boxing, like Triller. You know, it all started with the pay-per-views of the Charlos and moved over on to the likes of October with Teofimo Lopez versus Vasily Lomachenko. Jamel Charlo unifying the titles as well. It's been the pay-per-view with Gervonta Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz, Anthony Joshua, and the mandatory defense versus Kubrat Pulev. We had Canelo Alvarez that unified the titles and versus Callum Smith. Just a lot of great things in the sport of boxing. We see the prospect of the year of Edgar Berlanga that's going to be performing tonight. Edgar Berlanga, Brooklyn, New York, stand up. You already know he's going to be performing tonight, and It's been a great momentum of boxing, and a lot of great fights are going to come through fruition. A lot of step-up fight for young fighters as well has come through fruition, like the likes of Bruce Ennis, like the likes of Virgil Ortiz, like the likes of Conor Benn in the UK. UK got their stars as well. We ended the year with a bang with Ioka and Tanaka on December 31st, and we moved on a couple of days later with Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell. So it's been a plethora of great fights, momentum of boxing. I think that, look, just like this year, in the span of 17 years, we only had one undisputed bout. In 1 year, we could have 3 undisputed bout with Jamel Charlo versus Brian Castano. Who else? We got Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor, and we also got the possibility of probably the most important fight, probably the biggest fight and event in the sport of boxing with Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. So we got 3 potential undisputed bouts, 2 undisputed bouts already scheduled. On the ladies' side, on the females, the queens of boxing, we had Jessica McCaskill, Cecilia Breakers. Boxing is great 154-pound division. We're going crown undisputed, but also there's unfinished business, and the man that's climbing up the ladder, Erickson Lubin, going to be fighting the ex-former unified champion, and Jeison Rosario. Is going to be a great fight. And without further ado, we have a prestige trainer, one of the prestige trainers in the sport of boxing, legendary trainer, Kevin Cunningham.
What's up, my brother?
I'm doing well. How about you, my brother?
Oh man, I'm hanging in here, man. Trying to keep my nose to the grind.
Trying to build champions, more champions.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
How's the weather out there in Florida?
Oh man, that's great, man. Today it's about 88, 89 degrees, so we can't complain.
Hey man, you're lucky, man. I'm in New York. The weather been up and down. It's 60, but in the nighttime it turns into like 33 degrees. So
wow.
So you don't know what Mother Nature, I don't know. She caught a period or something, so you don't know what to expect from Mother Nature.
Right. You know, I'm from the Midwest, so I'm used to, that weather fluctuating like that. It could be 60 in the day, and by night it's 29 degrees. So I'm used to that, man. Facts.
And you think that the older you get, you think that you could get used to the cold. It's like you never get used to the cold. The older you get, the colder it gets.
That's why I moved to Florida, man. These old bones ain't taking that cold weather like I used to, man.
Facts. And you still got a legendary career. You're one of the most respected trainers in the game. Hard nosed, one of the few. I'm not gonna say the few because I think that there's been a lot of people that says that there's a lot of trainers out there, but there's not a lot of teachers. There's
Right.
few teachers in the game.
Right.
Do you agree with that or not? You know?
I agree totally with that. I agree wholeheartedly with that. I agree wholeheartedly. You know, I've said that on several occasions. I mean, there's a lot of coaches and there's a lot of guys that have just found themselves with associated with a good fighter with raw and natural ability, but there's not a lot of teaching going on. There's not a lot of teaching, coaching, and just being a stand-up guy and being a leader of men. You know, all of that's part of being a good coach. And you know, like I said before, there's I think it's just too much. You know, when you got a talented fighter, there's a lot of these guys that's supposed to be coaches, but they're basically cheerleaders and ass kissers, and that doesn't help the fighter. You know what I'm saying? They think they're keeping their job, but at the end of the day, if you're not doing your job, the fighter's gonna come up short eventually.
Yeah.
And then there's no job. So
Exactly.
you might as well step up and be a man about the situation. You know, lead the young man, teach the young man, and it'll elevate the young man from just a not just boxing skill set, from just being a good upstanding citizen. You know what I'm saying? And doing things like a young man supposed to, you know, want to step up and be a man about every situation in life. So you won't find a lot of these situations where you see these young guys, they come in, they get into a situation, they're successful in boxing, and they start getting the money, and then, you know, you read about them in all these bad situations. Part of that has a lot to do with having strong men around you.
True facts. And I mean, we come from a community, that they say, you know, fatherless, a lot of fatherless children, you know, especially in the Black Latino community. So, you know, transition into the boxing community as well. And I think that is something that has been a detrimental in terms of, you know, building men. There's not a lot of fathers in the home, but I do think it's getting better. I do think and got to give credit to coaches like yourself, big brothers, big organization that have the big brother organizations and stuff like that to help our young kids. So, but I understand you a lot on the teaching part, because it's like we lost a good one. We lost Richardson. I seen Richardson, Philadelphia, legendary coach, and we all know he was known for teaching.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that was my man, brother Nazim. We went to war against each other in national tournaments for years. So yeah, he was one of the good teachers in the game. But you know, he come from old school lineage. You know what I'm saying? When you were raised around great old school trainers, and you learn from those old school teachings and training, and you learn the tricks of the trade. It's not a lot of that going on nowadays. I mean, if you look at the young fighters, you know, something as simple as using feints, they're not even using feints that much anymore. You know what I'm saying? They don't use multiple variations of the jab. You know what I'm saying? They're you know, a lot of those little tricks of the trade that if you're not being taught that and being consistently taught it, and it's being drilled into you day in and day out. And that's part of what I'm talking about with the yes man situation. Because a yes man, he's not doing a whole lot of teaching because he's too busy telling him, yes, baby, yeah, baby, that's it, baby. He's too scared to tell the fighter he's doing something wrong. So you're hurting the fighter. If you can't stand up to him and coach him properly and teach him, then you're hurting him, I feel, in my opinion.
What two things I usually say when I hear fighters, or I hear you know, rumors in camps, right? When a fighter mentally checks out, talk about retirement, you know, almost like how Carl Frampton said, you know, he was thinking about retirement. I said, yo, this is gonna be a good fight. But once I heard talk about retirement, I said, all right, mentally he checked out. You know, I think Jamel Harry's just gonna take. He's gonna win. You know, and when I notice when fighters run their own training camp, that's why when fighters run their own training camp, I'm like, all right, things will go all right. I don't think it's gonna go well on this one. So you do you think that fighters getting the habits of running their own training camp, is that a detrimental to his whole progression and the whole team and the whole game plan?
For sure. I mean, if a fighter's gonna run his own show, I mean, he's training himself. I mean, he's running his own show, and he's pushing himself. So, I mean, you as an individual know that you're only going to push yourself as far as you feel like you need to be pushed, right? But if you got a great coach and a good trainer, that coach and that trainer can take you to a level that you didn't even know you had in you. But if you don't want to be pushed and you want to run your own show and you only want to take it as far as you want to take it, then you're limiting yourself. You know, so it's just I've never believed in that. Fighters run his own show, and this. What do you need? What do you need a coach for?
Coach, yeah.
I mean, you just need
to hold the pads,
hold a towel in a spit bucket. I mean, but you'll eventually, when you have that type of situation, you'll eventually see when that situation meets a situation that's doing everything the right way, and there's a great coach involved, great structure, great game plan, great strategy, and it meets a situation where they're just running their own show over here, it's going to get exposed.
Facts.
That situation will definitely get exposed.
Yeah. It might be fighters out there that's special enough to get by, you know, on
Floyd Mayweather's the only fighter that I've ever seen do that in the history of the sport. And he didn't run his own show until he got, halfway, deep into his pro career. But when it's as a kid, as a youngster coming up, he was blessed to have the old school way of training and the structure of his dad for so many years. So when he got to a point of running his own show, it was already embedded in him and instilled in him. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
And he had the discipline to take it and run with it. And I mean, it comes across as if he's running his own show, but people don't realize how really disciplined and focused Floyd Mayweather is. I mean, and a lot of the young fighters get Floyd Mayweather misconstrued.
Facts.
All they see is the bling bling, the money, the partying, the clubs, this, that, and that. But if Floyd is in the club in VIP, you might have tons of bottles of champagne sitting around, but he's drinking water and orange juice.
Yep.
But you got a lot of young fighters there in the club turning up in the VIP, drinking, getting drunk. When Floyd leave the club at 5 a.m, he go run 6 miles.
Yeah.
You leave the club drunk and go sleep all day and don't even show up to the gym the next day because you aren't going.
Facts.
But you think you turning up like Floyd. So
Facts.
They kind of got him, they kind of got him misconstrued and it's part of that being unfocused and it's this whole clout thing, this whole social media chasing clout. I tell these guys in the gym every day, why chase clout when you could put in the work and you can have it all, and all of the things that you see that you take pictures of, standing next to nice cars and going and doing this and wearing that and just for clout. You can have all of that through hard work and dedication. You can really have it. You don't have to front and stunt like you got it. You can really have it.
Facts. It's true. True. He used to say the same thing, Floyd Mayweather, he was running they had a clip of him 2 days ago at 3:00 a.m. running miles. And this guy's a retired dude.
Yeah, when you look at his body, did you see his body the other day? He posted that he was down in Miami with no shirt on. I mean, you got 25-year-old fighters that when they're off doing their downtime, they don't have a muscle in their stomach.
Yeah.
Here this guy's 40-something years old, retired, and he takes his shirt off and he's still ripped up, 6-pack.
Exactly. Just like Bernard Hopkins. He said he could make weight today.
Yeah. So it's a lifestyle, man. If you really want to do this and you really want to fight at the elite level and be one of the best fighters in your division, it's got to be a lifestyle for you. You know what I'm saying? This ain't this you can't do this part-time.
Facts.
You know, it's got to be a lifestyle.
A lot of fat camps. You feel there's too many fat camps?
Yeah, you got fat camps. You know, you got guys that's every time they go to camp, they got to take off 35, 45 pounds.
Damn.
That you know, they gonna pay the price for that. You know, you might get away. They might pick the right opponent for you here and there, and you can get away with it. But when you got to fight the other top guys in your division, and those guys are really taking care of business and living right, it's going to show up on fight night. I don't care how talented you are. Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Damn, facts.
You know?
You got to take that quote to the bank. Oh, look, you had Corey Spinks, great fighter, multiple divisions world champion at welterweight, super welterweight. Devin Alexander, multiple champion. Shout out to Devin Alexander. Diaz. Now you got Erickson Lubin, of course, who had a hiccup. You know, he was having a hot young phenom coming up in the sport of boxing. Had a hiccup in Brooklyn, New York. I went to that fight. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It ended. I thought it was a 50-50 fight coming into me. But things happen in boxing. He's climbing himself right back up. Great couple wins. And now he's facing the former unified 154 champion in Jeison Rosario. You know, big dude. And I think this is probably going to be his hardest task since his loss to Charlo. Do you feel like that?
I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that statement. I think it's going to be a great fight. Mm-hmm. Rosario's a big junior welterweight. Yeah, and he punches well. He punches good in both hands, mm-hmm. And
aside from the knockdowns, he was actually doing pretty good. He won. I think three rounds of that Charlo fight. So it wasn't.
Oh yeah. He had Charlo on the move in that fight. Yeah, you know, he was stepping to Charlo and trying to get to him and get to him and try to break him down. But Charlo's a big, strong, athletic junior middleweight himself, and he used movement in that fight, and he ran Rosario into some big shots. And that's another thing that people don't realize. You know, a lot of people's when this fight was announced, a lot of people say, well, wow, man, Rosario can punch, man. What's Lubin gonna do? How's Lubin gonna deal with that power and this, that, and the other? But what people don't realize is Hammer can punch too. Yeah. Hammer's got power too. Mm-hmm. And what's going to separate the two in this fight is going to be the skill set. That's what's going to separate the two in this fight. And Hammer's got the better skill set. He's got power. Yeah. We know Rosario's punching. He's got good punching power in both hands. And, people question, can Lubin take that punch? We've seen him hurt, blah, blah, blah. But, I was doing an interview the other night on another YouTube channel. Yeah. When I had a guy I had to straighten out, because a lot of these YouTube guys, they got the platform. Yeah. They think because they got the platform, they know more about boxing than a trainer that's been in the game 30 years, won multiple world titles. So you got to straighten some people out sometime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna talk to me, do your research, do your homework.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And as far as Rosario and Lubin, it's gonna be a great fight. But when people talk about Rosario's power, they seem to forget that Lubin's got pretty good power himself, and
Footwork.
he's got more knockouts than Rosario.
Yeah. He got good footwork.
You know what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? He's got more knockouts than Rosario.
Yeah.
He's beat one of the guys that knocked Rosario out. Lubin has beaten him easy, made easy work out of him.
Gallimore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be an interesting fight.
And that's a tough fighter, too. That's a tough fighter. Gallimore's a tough fighter.
Yeah. So, Gallimore gave Julian J. Rock Williams hell.
Yeah.
J. Rock in the later half of the fight, J. Rock kind of turned it around, but up and halfway through that fight, J. Rock was having some issues with Gallimore. So, and J. Rock and J. Rock got buzzed a little bit with Gallimore too. So Gallimore's a tough, rugged fighter, but Hammer made easy work out of him. So I just think if we're gonna talk about the fight, we're gonna talk about both fighters' assets, and that's how you evaluate what you think may happen. But we could talk about the fight and make predictions all night and day.
Yeah.
But until the both fighter gets in the ring and the bell go ding, no one knows what's gonna happen.
What do you feel if you could share? What do you think is the weakest link of the weakest part of Jeison Rosario? Are you going? You can. Give us the goods.
There's a lot of weaknesses there.
Yeah.
So from a skill set standpoint,
he throws a lot of wide punches.
So I'm not going to get into no specific, but I see a lot of weaknesses. I see a lot of things that we could take advantage of. You know what I'm saying? Because Hammer has the skill set to take advantage of a lot of those weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? So my strategy and game plan is based around how I'm breaking down the footage on Rosario and breaking down the weaknesses and his strengths. We don't just look at his weaknesses. We look at his weaknesses and his strengths, because what I want to do is put my fighter in a position to where he's in a position to take advantage of Rosario's weaknesses. Yeah. And keep him in a position to where Rosario can't expose any weakness that my guy may have. So that's my job, to put my guy in that position. So I have to build put a strategy and a game plan around that concept.
Yeah, and in the last Lubin fight, he was outboxing the opponent. Then the 11th round, he wanted a bang, and I was saying to myself, just box him out already. You already got this in the bag. But he wanted a bang. He got in the 11th round. He got touched a couple of times like that. He could have made this the championship round a little easier, in my opinion. So
I think that was the 10th round, I think. Or was it the 11th?
I think 11th. I think it was the 11th. Well, it could be one of them, because I was scoring the bout at home. Yeah. So I'm like, what? Nah, bro. Get out the corner, bro. Just
you sound like me in the corner. we're pitching a shutout.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the strategy for that fight was to fight him at range. We got the longer reach, and the way that Terrell fights, he fights with the high guard, but he wants you to fight in close so he can fight off the high guard. What I'm saying? He want to catch you punching and catch you and punch in between your punches, catch you in an exchange is what he wants to do.
Yeah, that's like that Chocolatito style, like catch your punches with the elbow and stuff like that on the inside.
With that being said, my guy had the longer reach, had the better footwork and boxing ability. We box him at range, and if we can, open him up and catch him with something big, fine. But you keep boxing him at range, winning round after round, and that's what we were doing. And, you know, sometimes fighters lose focus. Yeah. And Lubin found himself close on the inside. And, you know, in the exchange, you had Terrell Gaucher bumped him with one hand and threw an overhand right. He bumped him with the left forearm to get him off of him and threw the overhand right at the same time. And Lubin, when he got bumped, he stepped back with his hands down and got hit on the side of the head and buzzed him. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it was one shot. It buzzed him. He survived. He regrouped. And then in the 12th round, you see he came back and he hurt Terrell Gaucher. So, you know, a lot of people, anytime Lubin gets hit with something big and it's buzz him a little bit, they're going to always make a big deal out of it because they're going to result back to the Charlo fight. So, you know, they make it. If it was another fighter that got buzzed with a good punch, fighters get buzzed
all the time.
Good shots. But with Lubin, they're going to make it bigger than what it really is because of the night that he got knocked out in the first round by Charlo. So, you know.
But I think it's this new form of the way the fans think, like this, like you got to have some perfection. If you get touched in the face or you're exposed, if you get dropped, come back up, or you're not ready for this type of fight, like this new form of analysis now. Like, remember Tito Trinidad, he used to get knocked down practically almost all his fights.
Remember?
Still
it's like, Trinidad, you just fucked up.
Exactly.
You go get your ass beat. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like, you know, the fans or nobody made a big deal. Like, Trinidad don't have a chin, this, that. Hey, he would get dropped and he would kill you. He'd get up and stop you after you drop him.
Exactly. Is I was having this conversation, you know, with dialogues with other boxing heads, and they was like, it's for example, Jerome Boots Ennis, is he ready for the likes of, you know, the top heavyweights? And the guys were like, oh, he caught a couple of right hands from Sergey Lipinyan. He's not ready because he caught a couple of right hands from Sergey Lipinyan.
You know what? And let me speak to that. Because I had an argument the other day with somebody about that particular situation.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, the only reason that Lipinyan caught him with the couple of overhand rights that he caught him with is because Boots made a decision. Boots could have fought 12 rounds and never got touched by this guy.
Facts.
But Boots made a conscious, Boots and his coach and his team made a conscious decision to say, you know what? We ain't out boxing this dude. We making a statement tonight. We step into this dude, fighting in the pocket, and we're going to break him down and stop him. So if you're going to go up in that fire and fight in the pocket, I don't care who you are. You're going to get touched with a shot or two here and there. And that's all that was about. So when they make, he got hit with what do you think he wasn't going to get touched if he's going to step up and fight in the fire like that, fight in the pocket? Floyd Mayweather, if you remember, when he fought Cotto, do you remember that fight?
Oh, yeah.
Floyd got tired of being killed in the press. Oh, he fights are boring. He don't do nothing but box and run around and box. Fights are boring. So Floyd made a conscious decision to fight in the pocket and go toe-to-toe with Cotto. Do you remember that?
Yeah, especially in that 12th round.
When he had Floyd, there's no 12th round.
No, I'm saying this. He hurt.
The whole fight, he fought him in the pocket. And Floyd got touched more than he ever got touched in his life. But he made a conscious decision because if he didn't fight that way, that fight wouldn't have been that exciting, but he could have boxed a 12-round shutout. So those guys, I'm saying that to say this. Guys like Boots and legends like Mayweather that are ultra talented from a skill set standpoint, they're so talented they can box and not get touched.
Yeah.
They got the talent to do that. But if you're trying to make a statement and you want to go in there and really make an exciting fight, those guys are talented enough to say, you know what? I'm going to go in here and make this an exciting fight.
True.
And I'm going to fight in the pocket. And if you fight in the pocket, you're going to get touched. Yep. So back to our original subject, Boots, he only got touched because he wanted to fight that style of fight that night to make a statement.
Yeah.
If Boots fights Earl Spence, he ain't fighting like that.
Mm-hmm.
If he fights Terrence Crawford, he ain't fighting like that. If he fights Keith Thurman, he ain't fighting like that.
Yeah. True.
So, you know, that kid's got the talent. That kid's talented enough to be the best welterweight in the world. I give him 18 months, and ain't nobody gonna want to see him in the welterweight division.
That's facts. Yeah, because when I'll say he's ready now. The different conversation is, could he beat them? But I'm not gonna say
he's ready. But in 18 months, he's gonna be seasoned. He's gonna be seasoned. I mean, you know, he need a little more seasoning. And then when I say seasoning, I mean give him some more fights like Lipinets. Give him 2 more of those type of step up fights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to see him fight another really good fighter, and then maybe like a Sean Porter.
Sean Porter humbles the welterweight division.
After he takes care of Sean Porter, nobody else wants to see him.
Yeah. I think Sean Porter, he humbles the welterweight division. If you think that, let's say Earl was like head above shoulders anybody, or Bud or Pac or Thurman or whoever, Sean Porter was the guy that humbles your mind, be like, nah, this is a stacked division. Mm-hmm. Nobody is head above shoulders about anybody yet. You know, I think that's what Sean Porter brings to the table, because even the Ugas and Porter fight was good. Yeah, I just say, I hate, this is what I also hate. I don't like when people say, well, fighters today is not like back in the days, but when fighters talk like they ready and want to fight, they are talking like the guys in back in the days. Mm-hmm. Lionel Rose in Australia, when he beat Harada in Tokyo, he was 19 years old. Wilfred Benitez was a world champion, 17 years old.
17 years old.
Salvador Sanchez, 10 defenses, and he died at the age of 23. Rest in peace. Cassius Clay wasn't supposed to be ready for Sonny Liston at the age of 22. You know, Oscar De La Hoya with Pernell Whitaker and Julio Cesar Chavez, they wasn't supposed to be ready. So it's like when these fighters are young, Lubin, he was already young, saying, I'm ready to be a champion.
Yeah, but see, that's an example to where everybody that say they ready ain't ready. Just because the fighter say he's ready, that don't mean he and it has nothing to do with him and his confidence. Has he been prepared and moved right to be ready for that next level?
Got it. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just because a fighter is 30-0 and he's 21 years old, what type of fights did he have in those 30 fights?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, with that Lubin situation with Charlo, I told everybody, I said, why are they rushing this kid into this fight? I haven't seen a fight on his resume that really prepares him for a fight like this. So a kid could be ready at 21, 22 if he's developed properly to be ready to deal with that when he gets there. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't go from fighting cab drivers to jump up and fight the elite level class. True. Because it's going to show. Even in a talented kid.
True.
It'll show because you need that experience.
True. Yeah. Yo. And unless you have a lot of great amateur background, bunch of national titles, and to Olympic trial.
You got a lot of amateur background, but that pro game is different.
Can you express a little bit on that? Because I did ask Brandon Lee, because I say, why does a lot of fighters, when they come to the professional level, they elite amateurs? I know that they're when they're in the Pan American Games and stuff like that, the elite amateurs fight the elite amateurs, and that's potentially going to be great professionals. But then when it comes to the professional, they fight in dudes that they wasn't even fighting in the elite amateurs. You know what I'm saying? So why? Can you tell us the difference between the pro game at the early age and the elite amateurs, where they have to make a transition and have to have a lot of fights under their belts?
Well, the difference between amateur and pro is, first of all, the amateur game is a sprint. The pro game is a distant. It's distance. So, you know, in the amateurs, you fighting 3-minute rounds. So whatever you do, you got to do it right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have time to really set up nothing. You just throwing punches.
Yeah.
And you outscoring. You got 3 minutes and 3 rounds to outpoint your opponent.
Yeah.
So everything is a sprint.
Yeah.
But when you go from that to the pros, now you got more rounds. And in the pro game, let me go back to the amateurs. If you lose that first round in the amateurs,
it's like catch up.
you got to play catch up, and now you making mistakes because you're trying to catch up. And if you got a sharp fighter in front of you, he's taking advantage of your mistakes because you're rushing, and you know, when you rush in a fight, and you can, you know, you can leave openings and make mistakes. And if you got a sharp fighter in front of you, he'll capitalize on your mistakes.
Yeah.
In the pros, you could lose the first 3 rounds. You know, take your time, lose the first thing. If you're dealing with a seasoned pro,
there's fill out rounds, right? The first round.
Yeah, them fill out rounds, throwaway rounds, whatever you want to call them, just to see and see how he want to set his traps. And then if you watch a lot of fights, you watch a guy start out fast and he won the first 3-4 rounds, and then you start seeing this guy getting slowly but surely getting broke down. Mm-hmm. And this other guy breaking him down and taking over real nice and precise and slow. And by the later part of that round, that guy that was out front getting broke down and stopped sometimes. I mean, I'll give you a good example. Meldrick Taylor was one of the best amateurs in the history of amateur boxing. Mm. Won a gold medal at 17 on the 84 Olympic team.
Yeah.
He was fast.
It was a Mark Breland and them.
Blazing speed, yeah. Mm-hmm. But did you see the Meldrick Taylor Chavez fight? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He got out in front of Chavez. But if you didn't have a trained eye, you couldn't see that it looked like Meldrick was winning. He was winning early rounds, but if you didn't, it took a trained eye to see the punishment that he started taking by the middle of that fight.
Yeah. And
it could tell you the later this fight get, it's not good for Meldrick. I could see where this is going. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of example I'm talking about, the difference between amateur and pro.
Yeah, great fighters do that.
And a lot of guys are good front runners, but in the pro game, especially in the 10-round, 12-round fights, that front running thing ain't gonna help you in a 10-round, 12-round fight. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what I think Vasily Lomachenko wanted to do to Teofimo Lopez, but it actually failed. He tried to let me fill him out. This young fighter is probably gonna start off fast, and I'm gonna catch him up, but then it failed.
Well, I didn't understand Teofimo's and his dad's game plan, because they were almost like doing absolutely nothing in those early rounds. Mm. I mean, they were literally giving those rounds away.
You mean Vasily Lomachenko and his dad?
Lomachenko.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No. You said Teofimo.
No, I mean Lomachenko.
Lomachenko and his dad. Yeah.
Lomachenko and his dad. Because they were like, and I'm gonna tell you, I think another thing that threw them off, they underestimated Teofimo's speed, his hand speed.
Yeah.
I could tell in that fight that he was concerned. They knew they were going to be concerned about the power. Mm-hmm. But the kid hands was quicker than what they realized too.
Yeah. So it took him a while to adjust to it.
Yeah, and he got behind in that fight, so he had to start taking chances and risks. And then Teofimo started taking advantage of him taking those chances and risks and countering him. You know what I'm saying? Because he had the quick hands to counter. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of should have started that fight. They should have took control of that fight early. The mindset was to try to figure this kid out. I guess give away a few early rounds and figure the kid out. But with a kid like that is as confident and as talented as Teofimo is, my strategy and my mindset, I would have conveyed the mindset to my fighter, because also you're dealing with a young fighter that has never been at this level before. We're gonna go out early and let him know, break his mental psyche, let him know you out of your fucking league.
Set the tone.
Yeah. And let him know it's different up here. But once you didn't do that and you let his confidence get rolling, the train left the station and you couldn't catch up with it.
Facts.
And
that was a fight too that they said that he was too young. He's gonna get outboxed. There's no way that Tio could outbox him. And a lot of people felt the same way. He's too young.
I gave Teofimo a chance because Teofimo is he's a big lightweight.
Yeah.
He's big, got broad shoulders, he's strong. Lomo, he's not a big puncher, but he's got a crazy skill set. But Teofimo matched him with the speed and quickness. He matched him, And Lomo was worried about Teofimo's power.
Yeah, he was. You could. I mean, it's for the eye to see. Everybody was saying the same thing. What section of Lubin or what tools have Lubin added to his game that you said from when you started training from the beginning to now? What have you seen?
Well, one of the main things when I first started working with him, I noticed that his balance, was not. He was off balance. With a lot of his combination, a lot of his shots that he threw, he found himself off balance. So I knew I had to fix that immediately, because one thing you want to do is have a fight. You want a fighter's balance to be on point, because if a fighter is, no matter what he does, he's always on balance, he can always get a shot off. So whatever move you make, whatever position you're in, if you're on balance, you're always in position to get your punches off. So that was one of the first things. And then from a defensive standpoint, I worked with him on taking advantage of being a southpaw. He was Lubin is a natural born, and he has the mindset of a natural born brawler. He wants to fight. He's got the fighter's mentality.
That's what happened last fight. Yeah.
The brawler's mentality. So with that being said, he was always square in front of his opponent. And that's a no-no, especially for a southpaw. So if you square, sitting in front of your opponent square, you're not taking advantage of the southpaw angle.
Yeah.
The whole advantage of a southpaw throwing an orthodox fighter off, you have to know how to take advantage of fighting at a southpaw angle. So once I showed him and taught him a lot of different things, a lot of different ways that you could take advantage of being a southpaw, he was like, wow. And so now we've been together going on a little over 3 years now. Mm-hmm. And he's really getting better and better at fighting like a southpaw is supposed to fight.
Facts. That's what's up.
That's
what's up. Like the Meets Andre was showed angle in his last fight. A lot of uppercuts. It was great angles.
Yeah. Before Lubin would just run in the front door trying to bang fighters, trying to bang his opponents out. But in the process of you banging your opponents out, you running straight in the front door, you getting touched.
Yeah.
While you coming at somebody trying to take them out and bang them out, you getting touched a little more than what you're supposed to be getting touched.
Yep. So
we got to fix that, where you can still get them without you getting got. So that's what I've been working on with him over the last 3 years.
Is this fight a title final eliminator?
Yeah, this is a final eliminator, but the last fight was supposed to be a final eliminator.
Yeah.
Now this is the final eliminator.
Don't make me talk about the WBC.
Yeah,
I think I've been flaming the WBC.
Yeah. So hey, what do you do, man? You know,
like what's going on? Like, damn, that's a final eliminator. Bunch of mandatories. Nobody getting mandated. Oh man, come on. Yeah. What's going on in the business of boxing, my brother? What's going on?
Hey, it's a business, man. You know, it's a business, and the bottom line is that dollar.
Facts. Is that frustrating for you and a fighter that you're this one step closer, and you're going into a fight thinking we need to get this fight because now we're closer to our goal, and then here's another roadblock.
Yep, and that's
how frustrated is it?
You know, it is frustrating, but you know, you gotta take it all with a grain of salt, stay focused, be ready, and just take advantage of whatever opportunity you get. Be prepared to grab it by the throat and take advantage of it.
Facts. Samson Promotion. We need to talk to you, Samson Promotion. Huh? You and that WBC Mauricio Suleiman friendship. I gotta talk to you, Samson.
Yeah, man. So you know, but it's gonna be a great fight.
Oh yeah.
But
June 26th, ladies and gentlemen. June 26th.
June 26th on Showtime pay-per-view. And you know, we're fighting, like I said, he's bringing Rosario, you know, he's bringing heavy artillery to the ring, and our job is to disarm him and destroy him. That's our motto for this fight.
Yeah.
To disarm him and destroy him.
Make a statement. Is it a statement fight?
Oh, it's a statement fight. It's a statement fight.
Ain't no boxing out 12 rounds. It's a statement fight.
No, we don't get it twisted. We always gonna be smart about our approach and what we do.
Yeah.
But we're gonna put ourselves in a position to make a statement.
Is there any young fighters that you're working with right now that you want to share with the viewers?
Oh, for sure.
So we can look out for.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, you know, you spoke about Samson. Well, Samson's got that Tower Inferno.
Okay.
Fundora.
Oh yeah.
Well, I got the Fundora Killer.
Ooh, who's that? Oh, okay.
I got the Fundora Killer, Leon Lawson III.
All right.
He's 6'6", 154, junior middleweight.
6'6", 154.
With mad skills. Taller version of Thomas Hearns.
Damn. You got two hammers.
And he's from Michigan.
Oh man.
Yes, sir.
The fighting time. You come from the legendary fighting town, St. Louis.
Yeah.
You come from the home of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Well, no, Muhammad Ali is from Louisville.
Louisville. Yeah. What the hell I'm thinking?
But
St. Louis, Devin Alexander. My fault. Devin Alexander, St. Louis.
I come from the hometown of Henry Armstrong. The first fighter to ever be named pound for pound. They came up with pound for pound because of Henry Armstrong. You know, Henry Armstrong held the featherweight title, the lightweight title, and the welterweight title all at the same time. And then went up and fought for the middleweight title, and they robbed him because they called it a draw. So you know they robbed him.
Yeah. That's when pound for pound was pound for pound, ladies and gentlemen. Pound for pound.
Yeah, and he fought in perpetual motion. And that's what I teach with my guys. You know, everything you got to be in perpetual motion because that's the way the fight is going to go. You know what I'm saying? You know, perpetual motion. So, yeah, man. Like I said, Leon Lawson, look out for him. He's 14-0, 8 knockouts. You know, he's the cousin to Anthony and Andre Durrell.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He's their younger cousin. So
shout out to the Durrells.
Yeah, for sure. Look out for him. I got another kid that's 14-0, Antonio Bang Williams. He's coming along. BT Newton, he's 14-0. He's coming along.
And these guys are from the Florida area, or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, Lawson is from Michigan.
Yeah. You said Lawson from Michigan, and the other guys.
But the other guys are from Florida. Yeah. So I got a few guys I'm working with. I don't like working with too many guys because I want to make sure each guy that I work with get my full undivided attention. You know, I don't like stringing myself out, you know, training a bunch of guys just to say I'm training 1,000 guys, but and you know, you can't really, you know, give everybody, you know, that you're working with your full undivided attention if you got 1,000 different guys that you're working with.
What's the message you have for trainers? Because also, just like sometimes the fighters, you know, they talk about the business with the fighters that they may get, you know, taken advantage of, but the trainers as well, the sacrifices that trainers have to go through, they put their family in the back burner as well.
Man. And you know, people don't see that or appreciate it. And some fighters I watch fighters take advantage of trainers nowadays. And that's why I'm never gonna have a ton of fighters, because a lot of the shit that they're putting trainers through nowadays, I would never deal with it. You know,
is the fighter or management?
What's that?
Is it the fighter or their management?
Well, whoever it is, management, fighters, you know, they try to disrespect trainers, and they don't appreciate the hard work that a trainer does. Like me, for instance, I'm up from sun up to sundown with my guys.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of trainers, they professional. They supposed to know that they got to run on their own. I see them in the gym. I don't get up in the morning and run with them. They're a professional fighter. They're supposed to know that. No, I want to know what my guys are doing. I want to get out on the run, because if they're running 5 miles in 45 minutes, that ain't good enough. You're supposed to run 5 miles in 36 minutes or less. So I'm out there to push them and, you know, to make them make the time, and, you know, take all of it's a part of taking a guy to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So I'm up there on the runs. I'm in the gym at noon, and at night when we have a strength trainer, I'm not the strength trainer, but I'm there overseeing the strength trainer. Yeah. So I'm with the guys sun up to sundown, overseeing every aspect of it. So I won't tolerate somebody, you know, disrespecting what I'm doing, or not appreciating what I'm doing, you know, trying to underpay me, undercut, all that. I don't deal with all that.
Yeah. So for example, remember Andy Ruiz, right? After the fight. And he apologized because he wasn't going to training, and he apologized to the trainer. But then after that, we have dialogues with other boxing heads, and people were like, oh, you too hard. Because I felt like, why should he get fired knowing that he's the one that made his dream come true? So now that you hit the mountaintop and now you getting paid, of course the trainer also gets, you know, get a raise as well. So now you in this level, now you boot him. Right. I think that's unfair to me.
Yeah. If you and especially if you, the fighter, admitted that you fucked up this situation. But actually, you really didn't mean what you said, because if you meant what you said, you still be with that trainer. But you admit that you screwed this up. But then you saw the need to go hire another trainer. Which one is it?
Exactly. It's contradicting.
That you felt he wasn't giving you all you needed, and that's why the situation got screwed up, or you wasn't disciplined and you screwed it up. Because if you really felt like you screwed it up, you should still you would think he'd still be with that fighter.
Yeah. And then I can understand when fighters,
you would think he'd still be with that trainer.
Yeah. And I can understand when fighters out there, you know, of course, they feel like they probably plateau with a trainer and they need another trainer. But in that situation, it's like, okay, man, you've been rocking with this dude. This guy got you to the mountaintop. Now he made you a champion. He helped you to become a champion. You're getting that good money. That means now is not the time to, you know, the sacrifices is probably these trainers has done. And I've seen in the lower level as well. You know, You're helping him out in the amateurs or whatever. This is your guy. You go into the professional level, couple of fights, and then that's it.
Well, you know, if you're dealing with a world-class, experienced trainer, teacher that really knows his shit, ain't no such thing as a fighter plateauing with no trainer that's on top of his shit.
Okay.
That problem ain't with the trainer. That problem with that fighter.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Fact. Because right,
you see some fighters. Okay, he decided to leave this trainer, this, that, and the other, or change trainer, or sometimes, in my case, I've never had a fighter leave me. When me and a fighter separated, it's because I made that decision. And it's for several reasons. Each situation is its own situation, but for whatever reasons. But when you go this trainer, that trainer, when you see a fighter hopping around, training, all these different trainers, the problem ain't with 3-4 different trainers. Yeah. It's time for you to start looking in the mirror.
Facts.
Right, like with anything. It's like relationships.
It's true. And have you been in those
you see a person that's been married 3 or 4 times, they can't keep blaming somebody else. It's time for them to start looking in the mirror. Right?
Yeah. You know how females be doing that. You know, it was his fault. It was his fault.
Yeah, if she been married 3-4 times, it's time for her to start looking in the mirror.
Facts.
Because everybody ain't screwed up and you right.
Yeah.
All the time. Right?
Have you been in a situation where the camps and the training has gone great? Y'all hitting everything in all cylinders in training, and then the fight comes in and he's not executed the game plan. It's like, what the hell? What did you forget the 8, 6, 10 weeks?
But you know, when you see situations like that, 9 times out of 10, there's something going on outside of boxing that has thrown that fighter off, broken the concentration. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because if you had you said had a great camp. Yeah. You had a great camp, and the fighter goes in there and he ain't doing nothing we worked on, and we had a tremendous camp. He's got something going on outside of boxing. His mind is somewhere else in that situation.
And that's the point, because trainers get the first blame for everything.
Oh, for sure.
Y'all get the last credit. Y'all get the last credit when the fighter wins. Y'all get the first blame.
Yeah, the trainer is the first. The trainer get all the blame for all the failures and none of the credit for the success.
Yep.
When the fighter is super successful, he's a great fighter. Fighter get beat, he might need to find a new trainer. Yeah. You know?
What do you feel about that? The Mark Breland and Wilder situation.
Man, you know, Mark Breland. I mean, Deontay Wilder. You know, I really like him. Yeah, you know, I really like Deontay Wilder. Nice guy, really good dude. You know, but Mark Breland is a personal friend of mine. Yeah, and when I see some of the accusations that were made that could actually really ruin
your career,
Mark Breland's character and his career for life. And I know Mark Breland personally, good friend of mine. None of that even matches up with the Mark Breland I know. Yeah. That's not good. I wouldn't give a damn how mad or what caused y'all to fall out. But when you go to making those accusations, poisoning your drink and incoherence with the other camp. Those are some heavy accusations, man.
Heavy.
And I've yet to see the proof laid out to show me where you could prove that those accusations are true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too tough. That's like,
Yeah, man. If you're gonna make those type of accusations, you gotta lay some proof out.
Yeah. And I said that, I mean, look, we come from a community as well that there's a lot of innocent people in jail. A lot of brothers, a lot of Latinos, people innocent in jail. We're fighting a system that to stop jailing, false accusations. DNA tests come back and said that the dude ain't do the crime, and we want this innocent into proven guilty. We feel like we get treated with guilty into proven innocent. And then it comes to the sport of boxing. It's like, why would anybody just, even believe, in my opinion, without the proof or the facts? That was, in my opinion, I think that was the drop when, a bunch of accusations came out, but that was the part I think that even boxing personnel was like, that's it. That was the cross the line. That's it.
What was that?
When the Mark Breeden and the water did come out, that was like, all right, that
even that. Well, there was accusations of him being in conjunction with the
Fury
gym.
Oh yeah, the Crunk Gym. Yeah,
the Crunk Gym. Mm-hmm. To say that, this man is going to be in cahoots with your opponent to that he going into the fight with you and he's been with you for what, 10, 11 years?
Yeah.
Now he's going to be in cahoots with your opponent to get you knocked off. Man, that's heavy, bro.
Heavy.
In my opinion, Mark Breland was the only one in that corner that showed compassion, enough compassion to stop that beating that was taking place.
Yeah.
Because Wilder's legs was gone, man. And I text somebody after the first round. I forgot. I text somebody and said, man, Wilder's legs look gone already. After the first round, his legs didn't look, to me, his legs didn't look right.
Yeah.
So after watching your fighter take those clean shots from a guy that's 6'9", 280 pounds, and you see your guy hands down, helpless, staggering, stuck on the ropes, getting hit clean. If you got any compassion, any love for that fighter that you train, you're going to do what Mark Breland did.
Mm-hmm.
You damn sure ain't going to go to a press conference after the fight and say, well, Deontay Wilder, if you know him, regardless of how bad he gets hurt, let him go out
on his
shield, knocked out cold. That's the motherfucker that should have been fired.
Yep.
In my opinion.
I'm with you on that. That's my opinion as well. Because of your trainer, you're supposed to protect your fighter as well.
This man got a family, kids, and you got somebody in your corner saying they willing to watch you get knocked senseless, cold, before they come in your defense and render aid to stop you from taking more punishment. That's fucked up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the guy that showed the love and compassion, he the guy that's a no good, you know what, and he fired. Hey, but that's their business, man. Yeah. That's just from my view and what I'm seeing. That's how I see it. But that's their business.
Yeah, and I asked because it's a from trainer to trainer as well. What would you do in a corner? What you think is the right thing
I
to
would have
do?
did the same thing Mark Breland did. That's what I would have did.
Yep. I mean, that's the job, and it's true. I agree with you. I think that's the only guy that had compassion in that corner. But I hope that Deontay Wilder picks himself right back up, go to the gym, find a trainer that that has chemistry with, and come back strong. And I hope Mark Breland, also gets a job. I know he's still working. Mark Breland is very big in New York City. He's a legend in New York City. Probably the best, arguably the best amateur in American history as well.
He is considered the best amateur.
He's like our Lomachenko. He's like our Lomachenko in America.
Look, one amateur fight.
Oh, you was breaking up. I'm sorry.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. You still here?
I said Mark Breland lost one amateur fight in his whole amateur career. Did you know that?
Yeah. That's why I said that he's the our Lomachenko.
And do you know who he lost to?
Who he lost to?
Darrell Anthony from St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah.
That put I know.
Yeah, I trained. I grew up with Darrell Anthony. We fought in the amateurs together in the same gym.
Okay.
Yeah. So, man. So I think Deontay will bounce back, man, and hopefully he'll get the third crack at Fury and settle the score.
Yeah, because I still believe that they should fight. But I won't want to see that fight before I see the undisputed heavyweight. That's a fight that I feel the boxing world needs, is that undisputed. If that fight can't come through fruition, then I'll watch I think it's the trilogy. But I still think that he does need like a tune-up fight, in my opinion. New trainer, he has surgery. His last fight was a beat down. I think that, and then you feel like Tyson Fury does have his number. I think he should, take a tune-up fight even before fighting Tyson Fury, even if they don't have the undisputed with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. I think he needs a tune-up fight, in my opinion. Like I've interviewed before, Jonathan Banks, and I asked him, so how, like, when you get a new fighter, how long does it take for y'all to click? He said, man, it takes at least 2 to 3 training camps.
Mm-hmm.
So I see when a fighter goes, so it's like you know what I'm saying? Y'all, how many fights you and Lubin have already together?
This will be our 5th fight.
Yeah, and now and it's true, is now y'all see it clicking better than the couple of training camps y'all do have. Now it's like it's like y'all won now in that ring.
Yeah, we definitely our chemistry is really on point, and I mean he's a great student, and he's appreciative. See, I'm big on being I'm old school, so I'm big on appreciation. So, and he's really appreciative to where what the improvements we've been able to make, and the upward trajectory that his career is back on. So, yeah.
What's the you trained Adrian Broner, Javante Tank Davis. Can you tell us a little bit about
AB? That's my nephew.
Okay.
That's my little. We ain't blood nephew.
Yeah.
It's like he's like my nephew. I've been knowing him since he was 8 years old, 65 pounds. So
how was that? How was working with Adrian Broner in the gym?
Oh man.
You didn't train him. You didn't train him in his last fight.
No, I didn't train him in his last fight. But what people would be surprised to know, AB, he does a lot of just flat out clown shit outside of boxing, but he one of the hardest working fighters I've ever seen in a boxing gym.
Damn.
Point blank, period. When he shows up, whenever you can get him to camp, once he gets to camp, he's pretty much outworking everybody in the gym.
Yeah, tell it to the people, because you know he got a reputation.
I mean, I don't make up shit. I don't I don't do a bunch of storytelling. I'm telling you stone cold truth, man. There ain't too many fighters that outworks AB in the gym when he's in that gym and he's training and he's focused on boxing. Ain't too many people outwork him.
How about Javante Tank Davis? I know he was in the camp with him.
Yeah. I trained Tank for the fight that he won
the IBF. Was the IBF?
No, it was the WBA.
The WBA versus
the 130 pound WBA. Yeah. So he was a pleasure to work with. Here's another one. He works hard. He runs. I mean, Tank runs real good, fast pace, trains hard. We had to get a lot of weight off, but it was no issue. He came to camp. He was a little heavy, but he put in the work, did what he had to do, got the weight off, made weight easy, went into the fight, looked real sharp, crisp, offense, defense, power, won another world title, and we had a great time doing it.
That's good, man. I see Javante Tank Davis as a special. Like, that's like a special breed. That's like one of the fighters I do feel like, damn, if he was from the outside looking in, because of course we don't know the day in day. I don't know the day in day out, but I feel like, damn, this guy was dedicated. I'm talking about living boxing, living like a fighter, not just getting ready when you're contractual to fight.
Yeah. If he was dedicated and living boxing every day. If boxing was just totally his lifestyle, man, he'd be on the pound for pound list already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's got that kind of talent and he's got stupid power to and see, everybody makes a big deal about Tank's power. But Tank's got skill to go with that power. He don't always use it because he knows he's got the power. But Tank got real skill. He's got good defense. He's got good footwork. He's got good hand speed. And see, when I was working with him, I worked a lot with him on using the hand speed to hide the power, to set the power up.
Like mix the punches up.
Don't just look for the power. Set it up. Run him into the power. So he's got all of that. He's got all. He's got it all.
You think that's a good move fighting at 140? You think that's a good move? He fought Leo Santa Cruz.
I was surprised, but I mean, it'll be a good move legacy wise. I mean, going up in weight and winning another title in another weight class. So, Yeah,
that's the same criticism. Like, they criticize him. Oh, he's fighting the little guy, Leo Santa Cruz, and now he's going big. It's like, what is he doing now? What happened? When are you gonna feel satisfied with the dude? Now he's fighting the bigger guy. He's the little guy.
And I'm gonna tell you something. That's not an easy fight.
I know. Mario Barrios. Yeah.
Mario Barrios is close to 6 feet tall, man. He's 5'11", close to 6 feet tall. He's long. He boxes pretty good. So, I mean, Tank's what, 5'5"?
Yep. With sneakers.
With
sneakers.
Yeah. I mean, that could cause some problems. But if Tank's allowed to get on the inside and touch Barrios, then it's gonna be over. But there could be some, Barrios could cause some problems for a while in that fight. So people saying, "Oh, this ain't no," it's some threat in that fight. There's some danger there. It could, Barrios could pose some problems for Tank for a few rounds, and I guess Tank's gonna have to make the proper adjustments and then do whatever it is he needs to do. But that's not just just some bomb.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
And I think just like people got to keep it consistent. When somebody moves up, what do they say? What's that saying that they say when you're moving up, you're Not the pursuit of greatness. What is it? Daring to be great.
Daring to
Right?
be good. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So that should apply to Tank Davis to keep for people to keep it consistent. I just see
Right,
there's a
right,
lot of people
right.
that's critiquing this move.
I agree.
So I'm gonna ask you a few questions about the upcoming fights. Just let me know what you, because I know you're a busy trainer. You got a lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah,
to train.
yeah.
Jose Ramirez, undisputed 140. Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor.
I got Josh Taylor.
I got Josh Taylor in that fight. He's a solid, skillful, high intellect. He's a good fighter. I mean, Ramirez is a good fighter too, but I give Josh Taylor the edge in that fight.
Yeah, me too. It is like a 50-50 fight to me, but I just feel like Josh Taylor got a little more intangibles, in my opinion, and he's gotten better in the inside game, and where that was supposed to be his weakness if he could fight in the inside game, but now he's shown that he can fight that. Brian Castano, Jermell Charlo.
Jermell Charlo, obviously you give Jermell the edge, but I think that's going to be a better fight than what people think. Similar to the Tank and Barrios fight. Most people don't really know Castano, so they just think, Jermell's getting ready to just go pick up
that's gonna be a hard fight.
The WBO and become undisputed. No, Castano's tough. He's busy, so he's strong. He beat Earl Spence in the amateurs. I mean, it's gonna be a solid fight, but I'm picking Charlo.
Okay. Now this not a fight that I hope it does come to pass, but people gonna be talking about it until they make it happen. Demetrius Andre, Jermell Charlo. You guys see?
I got Jermell Charlo in that fight. I mean, Boo man, and it's sad what the way his career has gone. I mean, it's like he goes long stretches without fighting, and then he just can't get a marquee fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, his style is not a style that a lot of top fighters even want to deal with, so he's going to have to get his promoter to do what it takes to get him in the ring with a Charlo or a Canelo or somebody like that, I tell you, I'd like to see Boo Boo and Benavidez.
David Benavidez? That's tough. That's tough. I think that Boo Boo just, in my opinion,
I mean, Benavidez, they both need a marquee fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And ain't nobody rushing the fight, neither one of them.
Facts.
Not the marquee guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Boo Boo just had
I don't think Jermell is in no rush to fight Benavidez.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Boo Boo's style, I think he has the style to make fighters adjust multiple times. They will have to adjust to Boo Boo
for sure.
Yeah. That's what I think he brings to the table. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua.
Tyson Fury.
Just too much skills, you think?
Yeah, he's so awkward, and then he's got that herky jerky rhythm, but he's mastered.
He got soul in him.
Yeah. He's mastered his awkwardness and his style, and like you said, from the waist up, he's from the waist up. He's like a brother. He's slippery, slipping and sliding, and bobbing and weaving and feinting, and and then he's got that long jab, and then he's 6'9". It's just I'm picking Fury in that fight.
And talking about feints earlier, he got massive feints, because when I was scoring the fight on the second fight with Deontay Wilder, I'm like, yo, D, why you keep falling for the feint? Because he was just making him reset and reset and reset. Like you saw that he don't got his legs, and I saw like, damn, he's just falling for every feint.
But the key thing to that fight, and you got to give Sugar Hill props for devising this strategy. They made a conscious choice, because and you got to look at the first fight with Wilder and Fury.
Yeah.
The first fight, Fury was out here on his toes, dancing and boxing and moving, right? And Wilder was coming forward, trying to line up the big right hand.
Yeah.
They made Wilder back up.
Yeah, he can't fight backwards.
Sugar Hill, I talked to Sugar Hill. I told him, I said, man, that was a great game plan. That was a great strategy, because if you've watched Wilder fight, when have you ever seen him fighting backing up? So obviously you don't know if he can fight backing up if you've never seen him, right? So they came up with the strategy and the game plan to make him back up. And he didn't do too well backing up. Yeah. Obviously, right?
We saw the fight.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a great game. That was a great strategy, man. Hey, let's make this dude back up, man. We don't need to be running around dancing. We taller, we're bigger, we got a longer jab. Hit him in the chest with that jab, step to him, back him up, line him up, set him up, right hands, hooks, they backed him up. And he didn't seem to, do too well with boxing backing up.
True. Earl spins Bud Crawford.
That's a close one, man. That's a tough one. Now I'm gonna say this. Pre-accident, I was picking Spence. And even though he looked good against Danny, still I want to see him in another fight. I want to see him in another fight since the accident to really show me all of that old Earl is still there. You know what I mean?
That grit that break you down.
Yeah, Earl got it all. Earl's strong. He's got one of the best jabs in boxing. Earl can box.
Yeah, he can bang too.
He can bang. He can box. He's strong, so obviously he can bang. But he can box a little bit. He controls distance real well. But all of it's predicated on that strong jab, and he's got good movement. Got good head movement and whatnot. But I still want to see him in another fight to make sure everything is really the way it was. Yeah. Because right now, I can't, because Terrence is a bad boy. Yeah. Terrence is a bad boy, man. He's ultra talented. And
a gym rat.
and yeah, oh yeah. He's a gym rat, and he lives. I'm gonna go back to this again. He lives this shit. This ain't part-time for him. You ain't gonna catch him drunk in the club. He lives boxing. Yeah. And hey, man, that's a pick 'em fight. That's a pick 'em fight. I can't even really right now. I can't tell you who's gonna win that fight.
That's what makes it good. That's what makes that fight good. Oh, Chocolatito Estrada 3. If that fight happens.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. That last fight, man.
I had Chocolatito winning 115.
Yeah. I leaned towards his way too, but it was close enough it was close enough to where they could do what they did, Yeah. So. But hey, he's getting a third fight out of that deal. So hey.
Yeah. And I hope they get paid well. From my opinion, I think they should have got paid better. Individual asks, I forgot, he said, do you think that Andy Ruiz and his weight, what do you feel about him losing all that weight? Do you think it's gonna actually help him? He lost like 40 pounds.
Yeah, I definitely think I don't think it's gonna hurt him. Carrying all that fat like that, man, that ain't never good. You know what I'm saying? This dude was literally just grossly fat, bro. So And then Andy Ruiz has always been able to box, and he's always had fast hands. And that's where they made the mistake in the Joshua camp. When they was just looking for an opponent, they went and picked the guy with fast hands. And Joshua couldn't deal with Ruiz. He's always been a quick-handed heavyweight.
Yeah.
So I mean, and by taking off the weight, he should, I mean, it should only, from a health standpoint, it should help him. And if he's a more healthy fighter, he should be a better fighter from a skill set standpoint.
Yeah, good question, Rodriguez. Good question. Last. I know I kept you long enough, my brother. I know. Female boxing, women boxing. What do you think about it?
I don't know, man. I mean, I love Clarissa to death, man. But you know, and it's a shame that she's not getting dates and whatnot on the networks and whatnot. But from a network standpoint, you know, where's the competition? You know what I mean? She's so far head and shoulders over the competition. It's like she's playing with those girls, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, everybody that wants to see a fight, they want to see a competitive fight. You know, Nobody wants to watch a fight that everybody knows the outcome before the fight. You know what I'm saying?
Is it sad that our pound for pound female fighters like Clarissa Shields, like Amanda Serrano, has to go to the MMA? And these are our pound for pound. These ain't just the fighters that's not ranked high. These are pound for pound top 5 fighters that can't get paid the pay that they want. I
just explained to you why they're in the situation they're in. There's no competition for them, man. So what are you going to do?
I think there's competition for Clarissa Shields in her weight class. Yeah, it's not a lot of competition. I mean, for the under,
ain't nobody can touch Clarissa Shields with boxing. It's not a woman on planet Earth that could deal with Clarissa Shields with some boxing gloves on. Period. Name her. If it's somebody out there, I don't know who they are.
Savannah Marshall, you don't think that's a good matchup? The one that she lost to in the amateurs.
What weight is Savannah Marshall?
I think the same weight. The same one was 160, 168, 160.
168. That's Clarissa. Clarissa fought her last fight at 54 or something like that.
I believe so. I'm not sure what weight class. I know she was fighting another weight class.
And okay, where's the demand for the fight? If that girl, Savannah Marshall, is really on Clarissa's level, why aren't there any demand to see that fight? We need to see that fight. Yeah. If she can compete, if she's really on Clarissa's level, that's a fight we need to see. The fight need to get made because Savannah Marshall needs competition too if she's that good. Right?
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is the only reason men's boxing is as successful as it is because you got great matchups.
Yep.
I mean, nobody can be great without an elite level dance partner, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have Muhammad Ali without Sonny Liston and Joe Frazier and George Foreman and guys like that. Kenny Norton, you know?
Yeah, Ken.
You Norton. Have to have some competition. There's got to be competition there. Yeah. I mean, elite level competition.
What do you think about the two?
Well, I think. Well, I'm gonna finish this. I think that's the bigger problem as opposed to female boxing is not getting the support. I just don't think there's enough competition for the elite female fighters to have to compete with to create the excitement. I think that's the bigger problem. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Damn. But I do see that there's good. The Jessica McCaskill, Cecilia Breakers. We got a big fight also next week with Natasha Jonas versus Katie Taylor. That's gonna be a great fight. I do like where female boxing is at, in my opinion. I think that Clarissa Shields, in 154, she fought in her last fight. I do think in that weight class is not a lot of level competition. Crew de Jour, she's gonna be unifying as well in the Triller telecast on June 5th. So yeah, man, I love female the female fighters. I think it's gonna be a great potential fight on them. I think that I think more of the fans should support, but I understand.
Yeah, but I ain't got nothing but love for female fight, any fighter that has got the heart and guts to do what it takes to be a professional fighter. I ain't got nothing but love for them, but there's got to be some competition, especially for Clarissa, because she's the creme de la creme. You know what I'm saying? And we want to see an opponent that supposedly is good enough to challenge her. That's the only way you're going to create some excitement.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So y'all already know June 26th, Erickson Lubin versus Jeison Rosario. Here with the legendary prestige trainer Kevin Cunningham. Yo, thank you for sharing your time. Thank you for sharing stories. Thank you for sharing your input in the sport of boxing. You're doing a great job building men, building fighters, and more props to you, my brother.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, my brother.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Y'all already know this Punch on Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moonshine. Y'all already know. Later on tonight, ESPN telecast, Navarrete versus Diaz. And the undercard, you already know, Edgar Berlanga versus Nicholson. Zayas also on the undercard is going to be a great event. Y'all already know, great momentum in the sport of boxing. Every weekend we good. Boxing got us. We staying at home. The wifeys is happy because we're staying home every Saturday. There's a great event in the sport of boxing. Support these fighters. Pray for these fighters. Y'all already know we're here to preserve the sport of boxing. God first, everything second. Fight plus survive equals 2 champion. Y'all already know. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Get my updated videos. Thank you for the people that have donated to the live stream. Again, look, just for everybody out there. When I'm doing an interview, I try not to really see too much of the comment on the chat, so I won't lose my train of thought. Next time, if you do have questions, I'm sorry I didn't answer people's questions. If people had questions, I didn't ask them. My fault on that. You can put it on the private chat, or also, if you know I'm going to go live, hit me up on an email, hit me up, on a direct message with questions, because I sometimes, I'm not multitasking like that. So, I know people want to ask some questions. I'll do a better job in looking at the chat and answering the question that y'all given. So I apologize for that. There was a lot of questions out there y'all wanted me to ask. Thank you for his time. It's been it was a long interview, but great insight. Erickson Lubin versus Jeison Rosario for final eliminator to become the mandatory to the WBC champion. Y'all already know that Jamel Charlo going to be fighting Brian Castagna for the undisputed. So hey, the winner of this fight may get a crack again. But this time, they may get a crack at the undisputed champion. It won't be for one belt. It will be for the undisputed champion. So, again, this is the final eliminator. Let's see if the WBC holds up to their words, because at the end of the day, the WBC is just not playing with the guys like Erickson Lubin. It's also playing with the guys like Charlo and Devin Haney and T.O. and all these guys. Hey, they all over the place. At the end of the day, y'all already know, man. We got to keep it real, preserve the sport of boxing, respect these fighters. These are modern-day warriors, modern-day gladiators. They put their life on the line for pure entertainment. And shout out to all the trainers out there that don't get their just due as well, because trainers put as much sacrifices also as the fighter. Not saying that they put the physical sacrifice in the ring and put themselves at harm, but a lot of trainers, morning, a.m., p.m., late night, they put and sacrifice their own life to build warriors, to build men, to build gladiators, to build women as well. Y'all already know, man. I love y'all. God bless. On to the next. I'm going live later on for a live commentary with the telecast with the Navarrete and Diaz. And shout out to the MMA. I know y'all people gonna be watching the MMA fight as well. But it's strictly boxing over here. Y'all already know I love y'all. God bless. And on to the next. See you later.